A few years ago when I was out on a backpacking trip and after I had read Jody's journal, which I know many of you have also read, I had the idea of following in her footsteps because I realized that probably most people who have read the book have not seen the country that she's describing. And I know that's mostly because a good chunk of it, especially the hardest chunk, is pretty remote, it's pretty difficult to access. And so I figured I have the backpacking skills and I have a GoPro, so why not plan a trip and follow in her footsteps. Our ancestors would have come down Harris Wash from 10 Mile Spring outside of Escalante, and so to save time we just started here rather than up at 10 Mile Spring. And we hiked down Harris Wash till we met up with the Escalante River. Then we came up Silver Falls Creek. At this point, we're not 100% sure whether they took the South Fork or the North Fork. It's not very clear in the records. But we know they came in this general direction towards Wagon Box Mesa, because that is mentioned in one of the maps in the book. And they would have come just south of Wagon Box Mesa, dropping down into the Water Pocket Fold. And again, we're not 100% sure which canyon they took down to get through the Water Pocket Fold. There's 3 big funnel canyons that they could have chosen. So we picked the most likely one from what we could tell in our scouting and looking at topo maps and things. And it drops you into what we know as Muley Twist, although in the journal Jody calls it the Devil's Twist. But it eventually kind of works its way down into Halls Creek, this big major drainage, also known as the Grand Gulch. And this they would have taken all the way down to the Colorado River. However, because it was so dry, Olivia and I hiked out here at the Halls Creek Overlook where our friend Jill picked us up. So in the 3.5 days that this video shows of us hiking, we went from here, came down, then came up this other canyon, over this way, dropping down into Halls Creek, and then getting picked up. I hope that helps to give you a little bit of a sense of what you're about to see in this video, and that it just helps you to have a little bit better appreciation of what it was that they accomplished, because it really was incredible and amazing. Hey Olivia, David, say hi.
Hi, how are you? You look so clean.
Exactly, so do you. You look all spiffy.
Are you getting any pictures of your clean self?
Not yet.
Okay, well, you have a clean, fun time. You're going to be muddy before this day's over, I think.
All right, see ya. Oh my gosh, Olivia, seriously, what are we getting ourselves into?
We're gonna die.
Let's hope not. That's the goal, is to follow rule number 1, to not get dead.
Number 2, you drink water,
Which means we need to find water. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be
quite the trip.
Quite the experience. Yeah. Yep, I'm already feeling it.
Imagine how our ancestors felt.
I know. It's so interesting to me that I've been thinking about that so much, of just the trepidation and really stepping into the unknown. I mean, we have maps and we have, you know, like, yeah, people who've done it before, but they just really were like, we're going for this because this is what's been asked of us, and so
we're gonna do it.
We're gonna somehow make it happen. All right, look, our first evidence of water.
We can live!
Yay! As you can see, the canyon's starting to narrow up. So, and it's only gonna get taller and deeper and more exciting. I mean, I'm betting we've gone at least a couple miles.
Yeah. This is so pretty.
This is just so cool!
Dun, 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 dun. Oh man, this is so beautiful. Yeah, this is lovely down here. Okay, Olivia, lunch spot, day 1. How are we doing?
Pretty good. First 2 hours, great. Last 2 hours, well, a little bit more taxing.
A little slower because what we've been doing is a whole lot of sand, soft sand, up and over hills,
Water.
goosenecks, water, willows. So yeah, we will
Continue to check.
have some lunch and then continue on. You know, it's easy for us because we're hiking, little tiny spaces, but can you imagine trying to get a wagon down through that? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, well, hopefully they didn't anyway. But yeah, that is something else. Just trying to get a wagon down through here. Oh man. That's nuts. It's a little tight in here. I seriously could not believe how beautiful this is. Crossing the Escalante River right here.
Why can't I be one of those people that just appreciates nature? Why do I have to be someone who has to go and be in it? I'm kidding. This is awesome. It's so beautiful.
Okay.
I'm sore.
I know, I'm feeling it. This is the Escalante Canyon. The creek is actually technically behind me right now. Olivia and I are just sick of walking in all the brush, so we want to get away from the creek for a little bit. Yeah. And then the canyon, we're only briefly on the Escalante, because then there's another canyon just up there somewhere that we're supposed to go into. and keep hiking. Almost to the mouth of Silver Creek Falls, or Silver Falls Creek. I think it's this right here. This canyon that we're headed into. Which is perfect. Okay. Here's our first campsite. Right at the junction of Silver Falls Creek and the Escalante, which is the water you can hear flowing in the background. With the Silver Falls Creek was supposed to have water in it, but it's dry.
It failed us.
As I say, any thoughts, Olivia?
It was a good day. I was sore, but doing good. Ready for a great day tomorrow.
Yep, we're gonna get a nice early start. And by early, we mean like 7 a.m. early. I'll take you down really quick to the Escalante River. You know, of course, this is a river by Western standards. Keep that in mind. It's more like a creek. Yeah. How many miles did we do today, Olivia? 12-ish? About 11 and a half, 12-ish. And the last 2 miles coming down Harris Wash was thick. Took us twice as long as we thought because there was just so much brush and things and the windy twistiness of it. It just, oh my gosh. We thought we were never going to get out of it. So we were very happy when we got down here. And this beautiful open, very nice and open canyon with fantastic flowing water. Just this beautiful, beautiful river. And little minnows swimming in it. So, lovely, peaceful evening. We had hoped to go further up Silver Falls Creek and get some extra mileage in today. Because by the time we got to this camp, it was only like 3:30. But as you can see, it is dry. So we decided to play it safe and stay by the river, rehydrate, rest, and get a nice early start and be fresh in the morning to get up to where we're meeting David with hopefully the vehicle and some gallons, jugs of water for us so we can refill to continue on our merry way. Morning of day 2. And I don't know, I don't even know what I look like. Oh, I can't even sure if I can get this.
Not running down my nose or something.
Nope, you look good. At least I just blew my nose. Anyway, so here we are. What time is it? 7:25. 7:25. All right. We were hoping to get up by 7, so apparently it took us an hour and a half to get going in the morning. But here we are, starting up the very dry Silver Falls Creek bed, which was supposedly supposed to be flowing. So we'll see if we can find water at some point this morning. Oh, there's the sun. All right, chasing the sun. As you can see, it's very quiet, very peaceful. I just keep thinking of what it would have been like for wagons to be coming up here, all the sound echoing off the canyon walls, the wagons, the cattle, the people talking, the kids, you know? Or were they so worried about water that people were just kind of quiet and searching and looking? I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about, though, what it would have been like for them. there's oils on the top that I don't want to necessarily.
Okay, Heidi, what are you doing?
I'm filling up my canteen in a water pocket.
Oh.
I know, but it's really dry, so I figured there's water, I should drink it no matter what it looks like. So I'm gonna try and get the least amount of sludge in here that I can. I don't think I succeeded very well. Smells okay. A lot of oils on the top though.
Heidi said you shouldn't look a gift horse in the mouth, but I think she looked in the mouth and decided to take it anyway.
This guy, Hobbs, George Brigham Hobbs, got stuck in here in 1883 trying to get food over to the saints in Montezuma, and he was caught in a storm, didn't think he'd survive, but after 5 days in the snow he was able to resume his journey. So his family put that sign up there, but that's his signature on the wall. And then over here there's some other names, you know, because people have to make their mark. But over here, there's one, this S. Rowley, however you would say it. And they put in here 1882, 83. So same kind of, we got a Doug Haycock, somebody Marsh, and then this one that I can't really read. Even though I was perfectly willing on drinking that water that I'd filled up in that, you know, clay puddle, we found a much better water hole here in the curve of the canyon. And so we decided to stop and just try and tank up, get as much water into our systems as we could, and then refill and keep hiking. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. You can see the sun is starting to come down a little bit further into the canyon. It's not warm yet. I mean, it's still nice and cool out, so but, you know, again, like Olivia mentioned before, when I was filling up, we're not looking a gift horse in the mouth. And since it's, you know, the driest it's been in 40 years, we're gonna take water where we can get it. Gorgeous canyons. Oh man, it's so beautiful. Look at that beautiful morning light on those canyons and it reflecting down here in the water.
All right, so picture this. You are one person, a wagon, a team of horses, and you're going through this. There's these boulders everywhere.
And just so you know, Olivia and I can stand next to each other, probably touch our fingertips, and then touch the sides on either side. Like, it's pretty darn narrow.
Yeah, so like having your horses go like over this stuff.
Here, you want to show you how I walk through at least so we can get, like, look at that. I mean, for crying out loud.
This, like this.
Ugh, yeah.
They're crazy.
They were
Determined people.
very determined. Honestly, you'd believe you were called by God to try and get through this. Otherwise, you'd be like, no way, I'm not doing this. Like, came around the bend from where we were just talking. Little Karen, all right? Little Karen, 3, 2, another little Karen. And then David, because he didn't know there was water down the canyon, but he left us this gallon jug of water. It's a little split twig figure he made for us. Put it there, letting us know it's ours. And then right above it, he found a heart rock and put it in the cleft. It's a little hard to see, but here's this bedrock that we've been hiking up. And those big giant boulders that we had to climb around when I was trying not to eat it. And And this beautiful canyon. Oh my gosh, I just can't get over it. And then more of this kind of bedrock. Just imagine, again, wagon coming up this. No, thank you. Here we are in the upper part of Silver Falls Creek. I keep wanting to say it backwards. And as you can see, still mostly dry. Now, we're getting into the part we're not 100% sure of which way they went. Because right up here, Silver Falls Creek, it forks. We're gonna take the South Fork because that's where the car is. That's got additional water and the rest of our food for the next leg. And we're almost certain that's the way they went. Because looking at the map and like later on, it looks like that's the easiest way to kind of go and then get over down into the water pocket fold. But as you can see though, it's big, beautiful, open. And so we're gonna start heading towards the truck.
Do you want to rest in the shade or do you want to look at maps?
I don't particularly care. I want to stretch actually. My leg is tight. I need to stretch the muscles out.
Now, why they would have gone up on top of the narrow mesa? Didn't it say that?
It said some kind of a narrow.
That's wagon box.
But it says that but the map, that little map that I showed you, that's sketched out, says that they went just below Wagon Box, just south of it. So
just south of it. Well, that's right. Okay, then that's right through here.
Okay, so they came.
We're on it right now. So the road's probably on top
of the what they did. What we think is that this Jeep trail that we found yesterday is either the trail they took or within like a mile south of where we are. And we think, looking at the land features and from our scouting yesterday, that probably what they did is they went up the North Fork of Silver Falls Creek. Alrighty, so down in there is the North Fork, Silver Falls Creek, and they would have come across all of this kind of open country, is what we're guessing, up this Jeep trail that we're now on, which very well could have been made by them. The mountain, you see over there, the big flat dark mountain where my finger's pointing, that's Boulder Mountain. And then behind Olivia, the red line kind of going through the trees there, that is Wagon Box Mesa, which as the book says, they came just to the south of it, which is precisely where we are, which is why we think that we're just about on their actual route that they took.
We're about to leave sanity.
So essentially, just so you guys are all aware, what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna come down this little slope. We're gonna try and get on this other slope, and we're gonna follow that slope that way, drop down into the Funnel Canyon, which should lead us into Muley Twist. So that ridgeline right there, the Funnel Canyon runs along just this side of that kind of ridge, and then eventually the Funnel Canyon goes that way, and then eventually it goes down to Muley Twist, which is just out of sight of where we are right now. So that's supposedly what they did. So we're gonna see if we can do it. And as far as I can tell, this is in the part of the book where it says that they dropped 1,000 feet in about 2 miles, which, looking at the map and the topo lines, that's probably about what we are going to do to get into this Funnel Canyon. And on the map there were 3 funnel canyons, and we are taking the most southerly of them. We We're just up there on those top of those golden hills. We just came down to the first kind of ravine, and now we hike up here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna head down this nice, beautiful golden ridgeline down to where you can kind of see the red cliffs that kind of look like a coxcomb, how they're kind of channeling down towards each other right there. So far it hasn't been too bad coming down, at least not for, you know, 2 people hiking. We've been able to find pretty easy spots, but I could see how this would be definitely challenging with a wagon for sure, trying to figure out ways to get the animals down. So we'll see. We're about halfway down to the funnel canyon, so we'll see how the second half is, and hopefully it won't be too much longer that we'll be actually down in the funnel canyon. We've been slowly making our way down, and we're coming to the edge of this ridgeline. We're gonna have to drop, and we're hoping there's a way down. We're pretty confident that we can find one because we're still seeing tracks, deer tracks, and elk poop and stuff, which means that if they're able to get down, most likely we are too. It's just a matter of finding the right path is all. If they did bring their wagons down through here, they are made of tougher stuff than I am, because this is tough and I'm only just me. Yes, we did. We came down that hill. You can't really see it behind that tree, but honestly, we didn't quite know it was possible. It is possible. We just did something that our friend David Holliday, who's hiked in this country for 40 years, has never done. He's never taken this route. So, yeah! We just came down that canyon, and here it looks fine, but further up, most likely it's not the way they came because it got narrow.
Like a slot canyon.
It was like a little slot canyon almost, yeah. like we were like stemming at some points, kind of let ourselves down some little chutes and things.
Wagons
But I don't know how they would have gotten wagons through there. So we're thinking maybe they could have come down this canyon because it's still feeding into the funnel, and we were actually almost at the funnel. There might be one more canyon that feeds into this particular one, but otherwise maybe they came that way, or maybe they just went a completely different route entirely and were way off the mark. Who knows? Honestly, I can't imagine what was going through their minds as they were hiking or taking wagons down this, if they did come this way, not knowing what was up ahead, if you could get around it. I was feeling some of that just a little ways back because nobody had hiked that section, not even our friend David, and it was anxiety provoking. And so, I mean, seeing this with these canyon walls just getting closer and closer together, I really wonder what was going through their minds. What were they feeling? It's just going so much on faith and trust that if they were meant to get over there, somehow they were going to find a way. Because I mean, just seeing this, it doesn't even look like it would be possible. We are almost to the twist, because those white kind of bulbous cliffs right there, that marks the twist. That's the east side of the canyon of the Muley Twist. So happy day. We're almost out of this funnel canyon.
Yay, we made it to the twist.
What you mean is those cliffs right there. Yay! And you can feel the wind coming up the canyon. Woo! Look at the size of those suckers. Those are like at least 1,000 feet high. Just pure sandstone. It's nuts. Look at the size of that thing. It's just huge. Well, if this is what Jody described as the devil's twist, I can certainly understand why. Because it really feels like You're just zigzagging without actually going anywhere. And we're lucky right now because there's a thunderhead. Well, not really thunderhead, but a tiny little cloud over the sun. So we're getting some shade, but otherwise it is just about completely shadeless in here. So it just is hot. Not hot. Definitely warm. A little uncomfortable. Just dry. So if this is what she was describing, I totally get it. I know it's hard to tell, but that big cliff in front of us is telling us that pretty soon the creek is going to bend east, and then it's not that far before it hits the Grand Gulch in Halls Creek. Hallelujah. Those canyon walls straight in front of us. That's the east side of the Grand Gulch. So we are almost out of Muley Twist. Oh man. Just about coming into the Grand Gulch. Or Halls Creek. And so just seems like we're never gonna get there. This creek just keeps going and going and going. Oy. Here we are.
Hello.
Olivia's doing great. I, on the other hand, am not.
We switched places.
We did. She was having a rough day yesterday. I was feeling great. And now I am really not feeling good. She's doing great. So, as we were coming into Grand Gulch and met up with Halls Creek, which is funny. Of course, you know, it's dry because everything out here is dry. And as you can see, it's just this huge, wide open canyon. I mean, we're on the west side looking east. That's the cliffs on the east side. It's just massive. And we were looking for water from David. I didn't see any markers, anything. So we're like, okay, we're going to head to the Muley tanks. And the first of the tanks, so the tanks that they talk about are just these deposits in the sandstone. The first one was dry, and so I started panicking. And then, like, we were caught in the bushes, and I could just feel my body being like, I need water, I need water, I need water. And so, thankfully, we did find this little guy in the sandstone. So, I am super grateful for it. In fact, when I saw it, I actually burst into tears, crying. Olivia can attest to that one. And I think I've been in and out of tears since then, and we've been here for probably at least 30 minutes. So I will admit I'm having some doubts about whether or not I can do the next 2 days down to Lake Powell, because it's just in this huge wide open canyon, and I don't do well with heat. And even though it's not hot, it's warm enough, and this canyon is pretty shadeless, and so I'm nervous about the water situation. We did hike 13 miles today, and I calculated from the time we started hiking, I drank a liter before we started hiking, and then I drank 3 liters as we were hiking, so I need at least a gallon of water with me. We did come across water pockets. I mean, that was a surprise, actually. And we filled up, but we didn't drink it. That was kind of our emergency rations if needed. But we still have quite a ways to go to get to the lake. And there is another set of tanks that are marked on the map. We might have a friend that might be dropping us water. Well, I say might because I'm still like not 100% sure it'll actually be there. Yes, the plan is to have somebody drop us some water, 3, I don't remember how many miles it is down the canyon. But anyway, that's where I'm at. But what's interesting is it actually makes me think about my ancestors coming down this wash, because this is exactly what they came down, was Grand Gulch. And just them as they were, you know, coming down this huge open canyon, what they had come down, because any way that they came down off that water pocket fold, which is actually kind of behind us to the west, is a bloody miracle. Like, honestly, whichever way they went, gnarly, hard, like, intense. And so I can imagine you get down here, you're thirsty, you're tired, that same feeling of just where is water, and just that panic and then relief when you find these tanks, these beautiful little, you know, water pockets. So I guess it gave me a flavor of what that's like. So that's something, I guess.
Definitely enough to scare the bejeebus out of you every
It's-
once in a while.
It's true. That definitely got me. It's Friday morning. We're walking along. Left the tanks, or the tank, I guess it. And nice little view here for you. So on the left is the east side. Those cliffs is the east side of the water pocket fold, and on the right is the west side, the water pocket fold. And I think actually the west side is more what's known as the water pocket fold. But as you can see, nothing in it looks remotely fun for trying to bring a wagon down. So, I mean, really, anywhere they would have picked would have sucked bringing wagons down. We started out on those hills. Well, actually, yeah. Like all those treed hills way off in the distance behind these white cliffs. And then we came down, the funnel canyon we came down, you can see the top of the north part of that funnel canyon right there. That's the cliff. So we came down just below those cliffs, down, Muley Twist cuts through these white cliffs here. You can see tiny bit of Muley Twist there. Then we popped out by this red sandstone formation, and the Muley tanks were kind of over there near the white sandstone. And then we walked down this morning to about there is where the trail started that we're hiking up out of, because mostly because of me, and Olivia's a good sport for putting up with it, but that I, for whatever reason, do not feel good about continuing on. I don't know if it's because it's the driest summer in 40 years, so there's not a whole lot of water. I don't know. I just, every time I think about continuing on, I feel sick to my stomach. Wanted to read an excerpt from Jody's journal as kind of looking at all this country, however it was that they got through it. But she said here, travel over rock no human being should ever try to go over, but we kept going until we reached the jet of Colorado. And the next day she wrote, I can't describe how we ever got down, but I hope you won't ever come to see. So now you have a visual of just what it was that they went through.